been in love before. I thought my heart was safe. I thought I knew the score. Hi, my name is Gavin Minter, and this video is brought to you by the Cape Town Music Academy as part of their daily music tips. This is episode 4, and it's not really it's an episode of discussing things I don't really like to talk about when I talk about music, because I normally get quite excited about talking about music, but it's more of a nuts and bolts checklist when you're booking a tour or a gig. I've called it booking a tour or a gig. So let's presume that these bookings are a part of a tour that you hope to go on. Firstly, it's important to make sure that you do the least amount of traveling possible. So make sure that geographically the dates and the venues line up in the most economical route possible. And this is to ensure that you keep the traveling costs as low as possible, but it also keeps the energy of the band intact. The less amount you have to travel on the day of performance, it gives you more time to relax and prepare. In fact, I'm reading a Herbie Hancock biography at the moment where he talks about a tour that some European promoter had booked them on, and they were the opening act for Weather Report. And it was really badly organized. They would have to drive from one side to the other side of Europe, and then up north, and then down south, and they were traveling hundreds. They were just zigzagging across Europe, traveling hundreds of miles a day, sometimes at breakneck speeds, just to make the dates and make the booking. And it just became too much. And in fact, it was so taxing that Zawinul actually pulled Weather Report from the tour. He just wasn't going to do it anymore. So it's an important thing to think about. Another important suggestion is to try and ensure that you have one or two bigger gigs that are bringing you to a territory. So it's like a festival or something, or maybe it's a corporate or something, and then make sure that the festival is cool with you playing other smaller dates around that time period. If the festival is not paying flights and accommodation, they don't really have say of you playing another venue, but at least it's a bartering tool for you to say to them, well, if you want us in town exclusively, then you will have to pay flights and accommodation, or maybe the fee structure changes a bit. So it's also an important thing to just to help costs and to help the reason that you're in a territory. So now that you've plotted your route, you start dealing with the clubs. Firstly, make sure that the clubs and the venues you want to play are suitable for your band. There's no point in going to a venue and just taking a gig for gig's sake. It's unpleasant for the audience, and it's unpleasant for the band and the venue. So make sure you are completely suitable for the venue. In fact, in Herbie's book on another chapter, he talks about going back to a couple of venues that he was playing as with a more straight ahead band when he had left Miles, under Herbie Hancock, but more straight ahead music. And they were like more stiffer sort of joints, more listening venues. And then when he arrived there with the Headhunters band, people literally booed them off stage because they were not suitable for those venues anymore. So just check that out. Find out about the performance times and the duration of the sets. Talk about the equipment. Find out about the equipment. Is there backline? Is there PA? Maybe try and get the tech guy's number who runs the equipment for the venue, and get your tech guy to talk to them so that they know what's going on. And then when all this has been established, I'm just looking at my crib notes here, you can talk price and how the booking structure will work. Basic 3 ways would be a straight fee, a door deal, or perhaps a combination of both. A straight fee is best. This is your fee. You pay X amount of sets between these hours. Done. Door deal, which a straight door deal would be a split of the money that comes in, the band taking the bulk of the money. The percentage split will vary between venues, because some venues might have full PA, backline, engineer, and then you would have to negotiate all those kind of things on a door deal split. A combination would be the venue offer a guarantee, so they say this is X amount, and then any money that comes in over that amount would be split between you and the venue. Normally that would be almost like a 50-50 split because they've guaranteed some money up front. If there's a support band involved, then you'd have to discuss that with the venue and the support act. I know it's also based on percentage splits. Normally the headline band gets the lion's share of the money. There's actually an interesting way that I saw this happen in New York. I was playing in a band and we played this venue. We were like the 8:30 band. And this venue basically had bands booked from 6 o'clock until 2 in the morning. I think the last set was at 1 in the morning. And when you came to the door every band did an hour set with a half an hour break, all different bands. So if you came to the door, let's say at 7 o'clock at night, and you wanted to see that band, you paid for the band you wanted to see, that you came to see. But you could stay at the venue the whole night. The venue were cool because you'd be drinking. And the band that you supported would get every cent that was paid to that band. So they would have like all these little pigeonholes, and all the money that went to this band would go to that band. And it was very simply run. I've never really seen it ever happen in South Africa, but I think it's quite a cool way to run a venue when there's a lot of bands on the same night. Next, you ask about travel. Is there an allowance? Do they pay flights? Is there accommodation? For some bigger bands, which I've booked regularly, they stipulate what kind of accommodation they want. We won't go under a 4-star. This is the kind of flights we want. We want a suite, all those kind of things. And that happens as you go further on in your career, and it changes in your hospitality rider. Under a basic hospitality, you can ask about the accommodation, what kind of style, is it a B&B, is it accredited to whatever the group of B&B people are called. Do you get a meal? Are there drinks included? Or do you get staff price on drinks and food? All those kind of things you need to know so that you don't have to argue when you're at the gig. Everything has been discussed before. What is the dress code? What is the vibe? I'm sure a lot of you find this as basic knowledge, but I hope it helped some of you, because they're all things, as I've said, that just help the gig run a little smoother. And then lastly, just be prepared and well rehearsed, so that a great show will just open the possibility of you coming back to play that venue again. I hope this helped.
I've never been in love before. Now all at once it's you. It's you forevermore.